I gotta be honest, if you're vegan, vegetarian, or in any way have a problem with seeing animal parts in your food, this isn't the one. I have to start with 5 pounds of tripe that I have cut up into small pieces. It has been cleaned and already cut up somewhat by my grocery store, H-E-B. And this is just gonna go in this pot. And hopefully I don't spill any. I didn't. So this is where things get a little gnarly. This right here, I'll get a good close-up image of it right there. This is a cow's foot, and it's gonna go in the pot. This is necessary. We need the collagen, we need the flavor. Next up, we're gonna add a whole white onion into the pot. I got 4 garlic cloves here, just gonna give them a little crush. I'm also gonna add 3 bay leaves. And lastly, a tablespoon of Mexican oregano. I like this stuff, I want it early. And after adding enough water just to cover everything inside, we are gonna put a lid on this and start the burner, get this boiling, and it's going to boil for 2.5 hours. And we're back. It's been a little over 3 hours. The tripe has definitely been boiling for at least 2.5 hours. So let's take a look at what we got. All right, smells very good, smells very tripey. I think the only way to see how tender it is just go ahead and eat it. So let's see. It's fairly tender. Hardly has any flavor. There's no salt in this broth. But if I put that in a bowl, that'd be all right. All right, the next step is gonna be to strain out all the solids, throw away the onion, throw away the garlic, throw away the foot, save the tripe, save the broth, and then tomorrow we're gonna put it all together. Next day, and the plan has changed a little bit. So I put the broth and the tripe in the fridge overnight, and when I looked at it this morning, the broth hadn't turned into jelly. That's not a big deal. It probably wouldn't have had a big impact on the taste. But for me, as a Mexican, if menudo does not turn into jelly inside the fridge, that's a problem. So I took all the liquid broth out of the containers. The tripe is still in the fridge. I poured it into the pot. It's warming up. And my container of cow's feet had like 6 pieces. I think I only put 1. I put all 5. So you can see, there they are right there. I'm gonna let the cow's feet cook for another 4, maybe 5 hours. Let's see how much time we have. And my hope is that we'll get some collagen-rich liquid inside of this pot when we're done. With 1 hour left to go for the bones, let's talk about chilies. So I have these dried chilies. I'm gonna cut the stems off. I have in this bowl 8 guajillos and 1 ancho. That's the one I'm chopping up right now. Ooh, look at that. After cutting off the tops, we are now just gonna use our fingers to open up the chili, take out all of the seeds. Some people like to scrape off as much of the vein on the inside as possible. I like my stuff hot, so I try to leave some of that in. Now we're gonna toast these chilies. So I have a very hot cast iron skillet. I'm gonna put a chili down. I'm gonna use my burger press. I'm gonna count to 5 seconds. 3, 4, 5. Take this, and I should probably be using a spatula, but I'm just gonna use my hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. That one is done. And we'll just do that with all of them. Place the toasted chilies inside a big pot. And we're gonna use our hot broth to rehydrate them. And with the start of it boiling, we're gonna cover it and let it cook for 5 minutes. Okay, after 5 minutes, we take the chilies, we give them a shake, we put them in the blender. Then we add 3 garlic cloves and 1/4 of white onion, fresh. Then we need to get all the liquid from the Dutch oven into the blender. I am not gonna pour from this thing. Don't ask me how many times I have made a mess doing exactly that. So I'm gonna use my ladle, and it's gonna take some time, but I'm gonna slowly just get all the liquid in there and still spill some. So that's cool. Last thing we need to add to this is a pinch of whole cumin. I'm gonna add a little more than that. There we go. And we'll salt to taste. I'm gonna add that much. And we blend this up on the highest setting. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Woo, that's hot. Look at all that. With the bones removed from our broth, we are now going to add in our chili sauce. And I'm not satisfied leaving all that in there, hell no. Gonna use the scraper to get all of it out. Give it a taste. Obviously needs more salt. I'm gonna run, oh, that's the end of my salt in my salt shaker. That's fine because I have a little more. So, I like the flavor. It's still not salty enough, but here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add my tripe back in, and I'm gonna add my hominy, and then I'm gonna boil it, and I'm gonna let it reduce. And my hope is that the broth will intensify in flavor, and a lot of that flavor will go into the tripe and the hominy. So here is our tripe going back in, and I went ahead and added in the entire can of hominy after I rinsed it, and we are looking at this as the result, and this is very pretty. I love how this looks. All right, we've been reducing for about an hour. I'd say we've gone down by about 4 cups. Let me go ahead, turn the heat off. Let me get some broth. Let me get some tripe. It does still need just a little bit more salt. As you can see, I have this incredibly sophisticated piece of human technology at my feet. It is a gigantic Rubbermaid bin filled with water, and my stock pot is in the middle of it. Here's why I'm doing this, and I debated whether or not I was gonna show this, but I figured this could be helpful to someone out there. I've made 22 cups of menudo. That's a lot. That is too much for my fridge to cool down fast enough. If I put this in my fridge just the way it is, this will stay in the danger zone for far too long, more than I'm comfortable with. So I'm gonna try a method of rapid cooling. Next up, ice. I'm gonna take my sous vide machine and I'm gonna set the temperature all the way down, essentially turning off the heater and just making it work as a water circulator. We stick this into the bucket, and I can already tell that I'm gonna need more ice. So that took a lot longer than I was hoping for. It's 3 hours and 15 minutes, and it has finally reached below 40 throughout the entirety of the stock pot. I've used 4 bags of ice, and I have stirred the pot every 20 minutes. It's past midnight. I'm very tired. In all, I'd say that the food has spent about 2.5 hours outside of the danger zone because it was hot when it went in, right? So 2.5, maybe pushing it a little bit further than that. ServSafe says that food can be in the danger zone for up to 4 hours before it becomes dangerous to consume. Some places say 2 hours. What I will say is that given that we've met at least one set of guidelines for safe food handling, this food will be reheated to boiling tomorrow and then consumed immediately after, and nobody, myself nor my friends, have any pre-existing conditions that make us immunocompromised. I think we can safely put this in the fridge now that it's below 40, and we'll be fine. This is a really important dish to me and my family, especially around Christmas time, and I'm gonna get my phone out so we can get an up-close look. So there we go. This is my bowl of menudo. It looks amazing. It's got a lovely red color. The tripe is there. The hominy is there. It's also very customary to serve menudo with fresh white onion, limes, Mexican oregano, and some crushed red chili flake. And I like to add all of it. And there it is right there, our finished bowl. Give it a little stir. This is Christmas time in a bowl for Mexican people. The only thing missing are some tamales, but hey, guess what next video is about?